who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stop the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they must feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Well, hey, I don't know what happened to those intros, but something did. It kicked me off. But here I am, guys. Welcome to CPS Victims Hunting Justice. I am your host, CPS Punisher, and we are here on the 3rd of July. Let me get this out of the way here, too. That's for doing that. So, guys, it's the 4th of July, right? Let's not have CPS coming for your children because you're being an idiot, blowing fireworks off near your children. Let's keep them at a safe distance, please. This is a great holiday. This is a fun holiday to remember the reason that we are here, our freedoms that we obviously don't have, but we're supposed to. So let's not make this the 4th of July to not remember, or 3rd July Eve, or July 4th Eve to not remember because you weren't smart enough to keep your kids away from the fireworks. Also, be safe with them around. I know that these things are self-explanatory, but to some people, they do need to be reminded. Maybe they added a little too much of the sauce or something like that, and they forget. So maybe that this just caught you before your kid went out there and grabbed onto the firework. Don't forget, we do have the chat, which is what got me jammed up to begin with over here when I was trying to change that. It's right here somewhere. If I can find it, boom, right here. Let's see. There we go. There's the chat right there. I'm getting better at where it is, where I'm pointing. So we've got that here. So please add your questions, comments. We have a mix-up of our, not mix-up, but we have a bunch of our guests tonight that our hosts, our co-hosts filling in and so on, because everybody else, I guess, is enjoying some holiday eves. But that doesn't mean that the business stops and CPS doesn't stop working. So that means that we don't stop working. Make sure you like, share, send it off to a friend. Also, I want to go back to the reiterating thing that I did a couple months ago. We are all on the same team here. There are none of us that are superior to the other. We need to all make sure that we hang in there. We be together. We are in solidarity. Like I say, it's here. It's pack it up, right? That's with one wolf, you're strong. With a pack, you're superior. So let's just remember that we're all on the same team in this game. I'm not sure why some people take it upon themselves to want to stray and do certain things. But look, we're all trying to work together and be together and save our kids and save the American family. And that's the task at hand. It's not trying to disregard any of us that are out here trying to send this message and get this message across. This is a very important message, and we have a lot of work to do. All of us know that we have a lot of work to do. So there's no time for messing around and trying to set anybody off track that is on track. And there's no time to dismount from this campaign either. So please, guys, everybody out there that's doing this and working on these messages and trying to get people's support and drum it up, just remember, we are all on the same team for the same goals. And there should be no animosity with anybody. That being said, let's bring in, we got Roz here with us tonight. We got Herbert. And then there we go. Roz, Herbert, how are we doing, guys?
Good. How you doing, Danny?
We're doing good. Roz is filling up the roster. That's what we'll call it from now on, the roster. I like that. Roz was on with Brittany earlier today. She's been on with us. She's a champ, and I welcome her to be on with us at all times because she's something that we needed. And then we have a new guest. I'm trying to commit to be maybe a co-host once in a while with us. That's Brooke. Brooke, he's right here off to the side. Brooke, how we doing?
Good. How are you all? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud.
Yeah, we can hear you, Brooke.
Okay.
Yeah, Brooke's in the building.
I'm here.
And then, all right, Brooke's here. I don't know if Charles is showing up. I don't know if Melissa's coming in, but it's us anyway for now. So what's going on, guys? You guys got any updates for CPS at all? Any one of you have any new stories that you've heard of or anything like that? All right, I'm going with the no. I don't know someone's trying to say right here. I don't know whose TV that was screaming that, but that was great. I thought someone was in the background yelling right here. Wanted to give us an answer. Hey, Herbert, CPS comes to your door. What do we do?
CPS comes to your door. They want to come in. You first of all, answer the door and ask them, how can I help you? And they say, well, we want to come in and do a wellness check or whatever. If they didn't announce the wellness check in advance, they just want to come by, I would assume that you would want to see a court order to allow them to come in.
what if we had a letter that said something better than that? What if we had a notice that we put on the door and let people know that we're not welcome to speak here?
The best things in life start.
Yeah, right. You can put a note on the door and say you're not welcome to speak. But if they have a court order signed by a judge, you have to let them in.
Right. That's a difference here. But Roz, what were you going to say there? I'm going to run and grab something real quick. Hold on.
Yeah,
But Roz,
TV on in the background that's kind of disturbing, or a radio or something. When they come to the door, if they do not have the court order to come in, they must identify the reason they are there.
okay.
They can't just say, we have a report. That's not good enough.
Right.
They have to say, we have a report that utilities are shut off. We have a report that your children aren't attending school. We have a report that your child is not getting proper medical care for their condition. Something. If they do not have it and they're doing one of their wellness checks, which, we haven't touched on this, Dan. Did you know that in Obamacare, there's actually a provision where they can go house to house?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, there is. It may have been taken out now, but yeah, when it was originally written, there was a provision where Children's Services could go house to house and just do wellness.
Oh my God.
We need to see your children. If you don't have a screen door on your house or security door, get one. Because you can bring your children, with that door locked, you can bring your children through that door. And say, see, here they are.
Right. Wow. Holy smokes. So, and that's a mandatory. I don't know how that works with a mandatory. Is that they need to, so do they need a warrant? Did they need a warrant?
If they don't have a court order to come in, they don't come in.
But even under that rule that was in Obamacare, they didn't need one? Did they need one?
No door to door, but still they don't want to. Okay, if the FBI or DEA comes to your door, knocks on the door, and says, we have a report that you're growing weed in your basement.
Yeah.
You're letting them in? Because
No,
you
I
don't
don't
have a basement?
No. Only with the warrant, you have to. I mean, that's it, right? If they come flashing it at you, but you want to read the warrant, right? So that's just that. Do you have any says on this stuff?
Huh?
Oh, I was asking Brooke if she had any comments about this, the whole entering your house, the CPS entering your house. Brooke, you there?
Yeah. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
Just 1
All
second.
right. No worries. We'll go back to her. So what I have here is I got a letter here. I don't remember if this was the one that I had drafted, or if I got this off the line, or if it's the one that Malibu Dallas drafted. But I really do like this one, and I'm going to read it to you guys real quick here. It says, notice and warning to all agents and officers of any de facto government entity or agency. As per my lawful counsel, I retain and reserve all my rights, and through supremacy clause of the Constitution and the Declaration of Human Rights and the ICCPR, International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights, all known as supreme law, once these treaties are brought into the light, you must obey them or face serious consequences. You are trespassing and depriving me of life, liberty, and my right to be left alone. You're attempting to commit multiple felony crimes under the doctrine of parens patriae or unloco parentis. Under both ASPA and Social Security Title IV, you cannot remove a child from a parent without the parent's permission. There will be no acceptance by me of any presumption or assumptions of my status, standing, and jurisdiction, and above all, I hereby retain my right to self-determination. I do not consent to anything. I will not sign anything. I am hereby challenging jurisdiction. We have no contractual agreement. There will be no. What's that?
Hey, that's great. I'll have the court order in the morning.
Right. Well, that's fine. But for that moment in time, they're stopped.
I wouldn't provoke them like that. I would not provoke them like that.
Well, I mean, it's
Too much to do. You can understand.
well, hold on. So if you have weed in your basement, we'll go back to the weed in the basement thing, and they're coming through the door, and you can stop them for 24 hours so that you can then go get the weed out of your basement, or like you use your misinterpretation of what's really going on, that the dishes are full in the sink, the couch is covered with laundry, because mom's been too busy, it was a hectic day at work and all that stuff. This will allow a stop so that these things, because it would be better to know that they're coming back for you.
Yeah.
Just
Better.
Obviously, if they've come once, they're going to come again, right? Like that's just a fact.
That has so much in it that caseworkers will label you mentally ill. You'll be left with police and imminent danger of removal.
Well, that's what. But all of these are all been run over by lawyers, the ADA, a bunch of people.
Lawyers' names, okay? That's how much I hate this letter. I want the lawyers' names who okayed this so I can get them disbarred.
But why would you want to do that? Why would you not want to stop them?
You do want to. That letter is not the way to do it. That letter says I'm crazy to your normal CPS worker.
Okay, well, I mean, what do you want? Because number one, if you speak to them, then you've automatically begin contract.
No, you haven't.
Once you offer them.
Okay, let's do it this way. You're at Lowe's.
Yeah.
You're getting a new stove.
Yeah.
If you ask the price of that stove, are you going into contract?
If you start answering questions from them, yes, you do.
No, you're not.
Then why do the police have to give you the Miranda rights before you start talking?
I think with that statement that you just read, I think that says that you are a force to be reckoned with and you know what you're talking about.
No, it doesn't.
And it might deter them a little bit from messing with you.
Right, because we haven't even finished what it says. Watch. So hear this out, Ross.
They're not.
Well, listen. Hear this out. I am hereby challenging jurisdiction, right? We have no contractual agreement. There will be no tacit agreements of me being a parent to this child and any subject of anything further that I am not. Warning, as per Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242, you're acting under the color of law and are depriving me of my rights. If you came with another individual, it is a conspiracy to deprive me of my rights. Section 241 applies. Both of these and other actions are felonies you are committing. If you continue, I will be forced by you to file criminal and tort charges against you personally in your private capacity under Title 42 U.S.C. 1983. I may sue state or local official for the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and these federal laws. So unless you have a warrant from a constitutional Article 1 or Article 3 court that clearly states the exact purpose,
that
is backed up by a sworn claim, not a complaint, as anyone can complain about anything, an affidavit or sworn testimony given under oath and under the penalty of perjury, please leave here immediately. I hereby now plead the Fifth Amendment. You post that on your door and you say nothing.
law. Anyways, you give that to them. Ask this idiot, Malibu Dallas, doesn't even give you his real name.
I'm not even sure that was one that he wrote or whatever. This was just the one that I had come across that we have. Because there's a bunch of
absolutely ridiculous. All you need is a note. You're recording. No entry without a warrant or a court order. That's all you need.
But you don't think that putting yourself up there and saying, look, I'm aware of what you're about trying to do to me. I am fully aware that you're going to come in here.
Yeah,
you're going to lie. And you think that you're going to be slimy right now and just walk right through. That's why you have this police presence here that by rights they're not supposed to do anything but stand there and observe, right? That's their job there as a peacekeeper. But yet we all know that CPS is using that as an intimidation, because as soon as you see a badge, a gun, and a couple black and white cars, especially if you may or may not have been involved in things like Herbert says, that gets your attention to CPS, you're going to be nervous and you're going to fold. You're going to fold right in front of them.
That might get their attention more than you want, that letter. Okay?
I don't know
And then on top of it, in the state of Minnesota, they do not have the first investigator that comes out from CPS does not need to have a.
Oh no, where did she go? That was probably good. They don't have to have a what? Was that, Brooke? What the hell's going on here? No, that's weird. We just
And ask questions that don't need a court order.
this was the same thing that just popped into us last night. Like it just shut Brooke off when we were talking, and then so that's weird. I'm sure she's mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
Much of that letter has stuff from sovereign citizenship in it.
Some of it. I mean, maybe so. Some of it. What? So where's the part of the?
Listen, I look at you, and it's the first time I meet you, and I say, "Hi, Darren. How you doing today?"
Mm-hmm.
I sue you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a badge and your intention is to come and remove my child, then I am going to stand off and be defensive.
There's a way to do it, and there's a way not to do it.
Right, and the way that it's been being done over 30 years, nothing's working now.
To go away and not call you a crazy and go get a court order.
Right,
That's
so
you'll have your kids removed.
Right, well, that could be looked like. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this.
Remove and have your kids.
From this point in reverse, there's been over 20 million kids taken into custody by Child Protective Services. So those antics aren't working. People are still having children removed. So something has to be tried. Maybe a little forceful way instead of rolling over.
But you just go to that is this close to coming to the door with a gun on them. This close.
No. That's a whole different. But you can do that too. You can also do that.
Speaking caseworker ease. Quit speaking English.
Right. Caseworker ease is
that threatening. You are crazy, and I'm getting the kids out of there.
You're allowed to come and say, "I want to look at your house," and your penalty is, "I'm going to take the child." Is it threatening? That's not a threatening thing. Because ultimately, what the end is,
and coming to the door with a gun.
But the end result, it is a gun, because they're not there to have tea with you. They're there to remove your child.
Wait, no, they're not always there to first remove your child. Okay. They do that. All right, and if they do, you have recourse. But listen to me, okay? You bring your children to the door on your side with a locked screen door between you. Here's Johnny, here's Susie. Johnny, will you please go get the milk out of the refrigerator? Susie, turn on that lamp. You cop, go over there and turn on the water spigot outside the house. I get
what you're saying, but Johnny drops a bottle of milk on his foot. It shatters a piece of glass. He cuts his foot. Now you're just allowed to come in. Or he turns the lamp on. He gets electrocuted. You've just given them 2 reasons to come in your house.
Yeah. Why do you start the
now we're back
there. You have to know what they want, and you show them it doesn't happen, and then you tell them they're trespassing. Leave.
I agree to that extent.
You should have on your door that you're recording on the premises.
Right, that should always be there. Correct. I mean, I have them everywhere here at our house. It says every door, every window says you're being recorded. Even out in the yard, it says CCTV on. Blah 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 blah. So everybody that steps on our property knows that there's recording going on.
That's right.
Now I don't know how it works in the court of law. If that's acceptable, I know in Maine it's a one-way state, so that's fine. But I don't know how does that work if you are in a state that isn't one way. You know, one person, I don't know if, do those signs still matter? I mean, I know that you can still do it, but is it usable? Do those signs make it usable in every state? Like if you just had a sign.
Even in states where you have to alert the other party, they've been alerted. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you can use it then. If you have the 2-party state or whatever, you can still use it once they're warned.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Are there any states that you have to actually sign an agreement?
Huh?
Are there any states that you actually have to sign an agreement
To what?
to acknowledge that they know that they're being recorded?
No.
Is there no states that you have to do that?
No,
No.
not that I know of.
No, I don't know either. I'm just asking you that one. But so those things are obviously important, but the biggest thing is the threshold. That's why I don't see a problem with telling them that you will come after them. I don't see a problem with saying that the ADA backs me. I don't see a problem with any of those things because, like you said, it's like you come into the door with a gun. Well, they're coming to the door with a gun too. They're coming to take your child.
Okay, they're not always there the first time to take your child. But
Right,
I
not the first time.
guarantee they'll be back with that letter.
Right. So
So what do you want to do? Stand there, have your kids stand in front of the door, prove you have whatever the thing is that they have. Okay?
okay, so you do those things.
And you say, thank you very much. That's not true. I'll get the letter to you. In 2 working days. Thank you very much. Close the door.
Okay.
Okay?
So, but what's the next step?
Okay, Kate, you're talking to a caseworker. You're not talking an attorney.
I
Okay?
didn't talk to a caseworker, but yeah, I know. So
We're talking about a caseworker, not an attorney. That
Right.
way they don't understand except that you're threatening them, and therefore, when they go to the judge, that will be twisted because how do we know a caseworker is lying?
nobody twists things back and forth. I know that for sure.
They're
But
going
if a judge is anything that if a judge knows his rules, his laws, and the way he's supposed to be, especially after the other day with the Chevron case, then he should know that they got to rule by the Constitution.
Well, yeah.
So
Constitution and laws in your state.
right, and that means that I have the right to tell you because I have freedom of speech, and then I also have the right to tell you get off my property. I don't want you.
Understand it. Put it in language they get.
All right. So you're saying that the language is too blah, 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 like long and wordy. Instead, just say,
Too big.
get off my. I don't want to talk to you. You've seen my kids go home.
Okay. You're being recorded. Okay.
Mhm.
No entry without permission or court order.
Mhm.
Okay. And we abide by the Constitution here. Done.
All right. I mean, that works too. I mean, that's just. I
Because
see.
that letter is too wordy.
Right. I see them as.
That will turn them into an immediate danger, which means they don't need a court order.
Okay. It's because now they're going to call you, like you said, they'll say that you're a lunatic and call you mentally unstable. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, and they'll come take the kids now without a court order, and that letter is going to prove it to the judge.
But I wonder okay, so you brought up a good topic right here.
I know there has never, ever in 25 years has any single person who used that tactic won.
I mean, I don't have statistics on that, so I can't.
Immunity, I have asked over and over again, show me.
Well, here's the actual truth to everything is, in your 25 years, it doesn't seem like there is an answer to any of this.
There is. You're not listening.
Oh, I listen, but I see results. I'm a result person, and I'm seeing a 12% chance of reincarnation. I see 12% chance of reincarnation.
Listen.
Mhm.
A parent came to me through my guy at work, where the children were sent to the grandparents, and they were doing the 72-hour hearing in 5 days instead of 3.
Right.
And because I educated him, he walked out of 72-hour hearing with his kids.
That's amazing. That's great. And
use logic and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
A 2-month-old baby cannot bite his tongue and make it bleed.
Right, with all the teeth that they have, right?
Yeah, a 2-month-old baby cannot be diagnosed with failure to thrive
Mm-hmm.
because that takes 3 months to diagnose.
Right.
Okay? You can't have a baby small. So what?
Right.
When
They are little.
you're 7 and mom is 4'11", you're
Right.
not going to have a 9-pound, 2-month-old baby.
It's not a giant coming out. Right. Well, again, look at nature. Look at how small kittens are. They don't do drugs. You know what I mean? Like, so you just look at nature and you'll know that this is a possibility.
And coaching your dad,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my collar at the time yet. This was long before I had it.
I'm a minister too, so I don't wear that. I wear the sash, but
You need to get a collar like that, by the way.
I do. The sash gets hidden away so much. With the collar, I don't think I can wear a collar.
You can put
That's
it
why I got a
under.
flashlight.
Huh?
Herbert, you're back.
Yeah. He says about the sash. I said I agree with you.
Oh yeah. So the sash gets covered up too easy. So I'm going to find out if I can get a collar.
Huh? Nursing robes on the internet.
Yeah, I'm going to check it. But I don't know if I don't know.
In your shirt you're wearing.
I don't. This one?
He said he's going to try to find out if he can get one back again.
Yeah. Well, I can. I'm still a minister, but I don't know if I can wear the collar. If that's specific to certain religions, or if it's not. If it.
Really?
No, it's to
Not
anything. Or you can wear that any.
Or it's a non-denominational church. Is who had to buy my first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Anytime
look
I was behind the pulpit, I had to have it on.
Yeah, and then, but like, you might as well say that again to everybody. Her being, well, you're not a minister, right? You're
I'm a minister. I'm licensed in the state of Ohio. I can marry, bury, and go wherever I want. That's why I got it.
Right. So yeah, allowed into these private homes.
3 or 4. 4 weddings now.
Flowers. That's right. Pretty.
So that's yeah. So that
1 funeral and 4 weddings.
yeah, that's what I say. I can marry him and bury him. That was what I would say, just like that. But I mean, that allows you to also get in doing your advocacy much better, right? Because you're
because I can go into a courtroom as the family's spiritual leader under the First Amendment. Okay, I can't advocate while I'm sitting there, but I sure can sit there and pretend to pray or read my Bible during the thing, and
you got a little cutout inside there,
and take notes and know what to worry about later. As I told the story on Brittany's show today, I was allowed to go into a confidential courtroom before the collar because I was a known advocate and I had been to the judge's office and talked to her one-on-one. She let me in.
Oh, wow.
And during the break, I said to these 50-something attorneys, 50 by age, 50-something attorneys, they've been practicing a while. I said, didn't you get complete discovery? And they said, yeah, we requested complete discovery. I said, then how come they've got a box full and you've got 3 inches?
Right.
And they just looked at each other and went, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's the tail of the tape right there.
Get away with that.
Right.
And if you are pro se, you don't let the prosecutor and the GAL go back to chambers by themselves.
Oh, absolutely not. Why would? No way. You're supposed to be present for that type of stuff. Absolutely.
It's ex parte. And if they give you a fit, you just look at them and say, thank you for the appealable issue. There's a way to fight and be a fighter without being antagonistic.
Right.
I'm not saying not to fight. I'm saying don't antagonize them. They're going to antagonize you, yeah. Show them you're tougher than they are.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's what my thoughts are with these letters that explain to them the constitutional.
That's antagonizing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you see it as that way. I mean, I can definitely see that.
You don't get it. You're talking a language they don't understand. All they know is that you're threatening them. That's all they know.
Right. No, or they think that's what I'm saying,
Much
which is
to have at the front door.
yeah. Um,
If you want to have a paper, if you are so paranoid that you're going to have a paper in your house, a stack of them, that says your rights, the first thing you ask them is, my pamphlet on my rights?
right.
Every
Yeah.
state is supposed to be giving those out.
Really.
My pamphlets on my rights.
Huh. Now that caseworker is supposed to give those to you at the moment that they see you, when they first come.
Oh, you don't have one of those? Well, then you're going to have to get me one, along with exactly what the accusation was. Now, they won't tell you who, but you can figure it out by what the accusation is.
Right. Right.
You know, in a split family situation, you know it's your ex-mother-in-law,
Right.
your
Yeah.
ex-sister-in-law. Okay, you know by what they say it's the teacher. By
Right.
all means, move schools immediately.
Mhm.
Um, People with challenging children, they have a lot of trouble with CPS because they get ridiculous.
Right. I
Okay.
agree.
So if you have a special needs child, you have to be really careful. And
Right.
there again, like I said, there are little recording pins
Mhm.
and stuff you can sew a button onto your kid's clothes
Right.
so you can see what happens in the classroom if your child is being bullied by a teacher.
Right.
There's ways to do it.
No, I agree that there are ways to do it, and I do agree, and obviously because I brought this forward, but something needs to be done in this facet of when they come. Like, okay, maybe a different way of wording it, but there needs to be some sort of a universal, like through the board letter that people can have that's either taped to the back side of the door, or put, like you said, next to the coffee table next to the door, whatever. But this little puppy's getting ready to get smacked up on the door as soon as they come up. Like
Or you hand it to them.
or what was that?
Hand it to them. I'm from
Yeah.
Children's Services. Ah, hello. Here, I have something for you.
Right, I got some mail for you.
There's ways to do it, but that is far too wordy, far too long, and worded terribly. You're already bringing up jurisdiction, and you don't know that they've got a court, that they're going to go get a court order.
Right. Well, I mean, we said that we would tell them to, right, in our
The
demonstration.
standard stat, okay,
Yeah.
is
Hold on like that. I want to write this down. What you're going to say here. All right, go ahead.
okay.
Standard.
Most cases are closed after the first interview when they pull children. They're always going to try to give you services. They always are.
Right.
Okay. I mean, we've got one county up here that if you need a new refrigerator, you call Children's Services, and they end up coming out and doing a whole investigation. You got to be smarter than that.
Right. Agreed.
Okay, but you have to remember too, only 4% of kids in the United States are involved with children's services. That includes in-home services, care and foster care. We've got such a small thing.
It's not. I mean, 4% of how many? What do we? So 4% of what? How many?
4%.
How many?
Okay,
how many
let's see this way.
states?
What is the minority breakdown in this country?
It goes. I'll tell you. So it goes supposedly. So they say it's more or less 2 to 1 is what they say. So I know that it goes 160,000 kids were in CPS custody last year that were white. I know 87,000 kids that were
talking in general.
I know, but I'm giving you. So it's 160,000 roughly white kids in custody. It was 87,000 Hispanic backed children in custody, not percent, but thousand, 84,000 African American. And then the next up on the list was Asian descent, and then it goes down from there, which wasn't much. But the black, Hispanic, and white predominantly holds up by 2-1 easily. And like I said, black and Hispanic are about neck and neck with the amount of kids that are being taken. But either way, those two accompaniments are 2-1 to the white family.
13% of this country approximately is African American.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
They get a lot of attention at 13 because, yeah, they're loud. But the problem is how we do it. I told you to go out on YouTube and look me up.
Yep.
Did
Here,
you do
yes, I did, and I'm going to pull up one of your videos here real quick. Hold on.
Okay, now, that was in Washington, D.C.
Oh, was it really?
You can see the Capitol building behind me.
I didn't know if that was your state.
I
I
was
didn't know if that was your local place or if that was, because our place in Maine looks just
there
like
twice, and it got us nowhere. They've done it a few more times since. Matter of fact, it was my congresswoman who got us a room there inside the office building.
Oh, you guys slept in there?
Heel-toe business. My assignment was the Senate heel-toe. Okay, me and my grandson did it. He was 7 years old. It was great.
Yeah, that must have been really
He
cool.
learned a lot going there. But the problem is we're not approaching it in the right way. We're not getting change because we're, for the most part, taking it one case at a time. We don't think of that as being a bunch. You have to have a verified pattern.
Right.
So that you can say, this is going wrong. We have all these kids in foster care that don't need to be. And this is why. And this is how much it's costing the state and the local government.
Right.
That's how you get change.
Yeah, I mean, you made that point. Like, because here's the thing: the money is already there. It's not a matter of getting the funds; it's a matter of reallocating them, and then being able to save some. For other parts of instead of blowing $200 million on caseworkers, they should be giving $200 million to these families that need services. But they might only need $100 million instead of $200 million to keep the family intact. And to keep them.
The rubbish turned off, pay the dang water bill.
Right, they should be paying those water bills because that's what
and keep it together. Okay? You have a family who's homeless living in a hotel, you don't take the kids, you find them housing.
Right.
Okay? Now here in Ohio, we do have a program that gives you first months in security.
Right.
Okay? You can apply for it through your same caseworker for your food stamps. Okay, it's called PRC.
Okay, but do you think that the food stamps draws attention to you, or do you think that somehow, if you get on food stamps, that's again, right, Herbert? Is that the way?
To everybody who got food stamps.
What do they call those things? They call them birthing alerts or something.
Pardon me?
What do they call birthing alerts? Is that what? As I know, when we have Josie on from Canada, she talks about birthing alerts, and because what they have up in Canada is called OLO, but we call it WIC here. But that's what it is in Canada. And the people that are on that service in Canada, CPS watches them, and if they're pregnant or whatever, they go after the kids. So people that are on OLO service,
they don't do that here. Remember, Canada is this close to total socialism.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Okay, they've got a law that you can't even gift a gun, pass it down to the next generation.
Right.
Okay, Canada is not the next best thing to America.
No, no, absolutely not.
Anybody who says, I'm going candidate, so badly, I laugh at them.
All right, here we go.
Okay? No, it's not like that here. Those who are on WIC here, until recently, you didn't even have to declare income for WIC. You could be a millionaire and be on WIC.
Right, because that was just to help the mother and the child when they were through the formula. I mean, because look, WIC's a great program because you know what? If you can't breastfeed, or even after you're breastfeeding, formula is damn expensive to get for a child.
Listen, if you ask me, you got to do away with food stamps and have necessity stamps.
Yeah, whatever you want to call them. But
Now, listen what necessity stamps do. You don't get to get $50 decorated birthday cakes. You don't get to have soda. You don't get to have chips. You don't get to have Little Debbie's. But you can get diapers and laundry soap and shampoo and
Right.
toothpaste. That makes sense to me.
no, I agree. I totally agree with that, and I also believe that people that are on, I believe that program should be monitored, not monitored, but I do believe that they should be accountable for those things. Absolutely.
I think they've got to be a little stronger on food stamp fraud.
Yep, I agree. I agree
If you
totally.
start selling food stamps, every single cash register I've been in the inner city lately says
But I do believe that people do have the right to integrity.
you can't use a photo of the card. They were taking pictures of their card selling food stamps, 50 cents on the dollar, giving somebody a Xerox copy of their food stamps and expecting the people to be able to use it.
Oh man.
Okay? My ex-daughter-in-law, would lose a wallet every other month. She got
Sure.
investigated for fraud because she was asking for too many replacement cards.
Wow.
Of course, the girl was so lazy she couldn't stay on welfare.
Right.
What
Right.
can you do to read the terms?
Here, I'm going to put up your video here real quick, Rose.
Okay,
All right, let's
I'll just
see.
see which one you got. As long as it doesn't Roz McKellar, as long as it's Rosalind and not Roz.
Yeah, no, it's Rosalind. So, but here's the thing. You know what your video says, right?
What?
CPS corruption.
Yeah, that was before I learned better.
I just wanted to bust your head on that one.
Yeah, go right ahead, it's old.
Here we go.
No, that's old and arthritic, and I have Alzheimer's. I'm not all gone yet. Yeah. Hey, officers, you might look for a children's services worker. That's the only one around here who's going to oppose this group and put anything mean close to us. But thank God, we are here and we are talking, and you better be listening. We're not taking it anymore. The founder of Ohio Family Rights, which started out of Summit County Family Rights, the worst county in Ohio. Many here have talked about their state children's services. Well, in Ohio, we don't have state children's services. We have 88 separate agencies, all with their own procedures. They follow the same, well, they have a written law, not that they follow it. We have 88 separate ways of interpreting that law in the local communities. As a board member of American Family Rights, I get calls from all over the country. So I'm familiar with how things work in other states as well. We just had, Lynette and I, our secretary who will be coming up and speaking in a moment, had two attorneys from Summit County call us to talk to us. One has been a CASA and a guardian ad litem within the Summit County courts. The other one has been the head of the CASA program and a GAL also. And things are not going well for the representation of the children in Summit County. Children's wishes, children's real best interest is not on the agenda for children's services agencies. As as many have said here, it's a funding stream. What wasn't said is how many others, wasn't emphasized, how many others outside the original foster caregivers. The children already have parents. Please change your vocabulary. It is foster caregivers. They're paid babysitters. Okay? Don't try to report abuse by those people, because little Humana down in Louisiana would be happy to tell you that when you come forward and talk of your sexual molestation while in foster care, they'll trump up charges on your daddy and put him in jail so they can get you a second time, put you in the house of another child that was stolen and adopted by the foster babysitters.
They had the gang all the way up on that channel.
Little Humana is now being abused by this older child.
The channel didn't have
That's what these people in Louisiana paid for. Bobby, you say you want to reform things down there? Open your eyes. I've sent you 2 emails. You haven't bothered to write me back. Guys, why are you paying money to take kids away? Why ain't you paying money to put them back? Because if they just take that in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, Ohio, fosters are paid $400 to $500 a month. Now, take that money you're going to give to somebody to babysit the kids. Give that to the parent. You know what happens to the poverty level? Okay? It's illegal to take children simply because the family's poor. But that is the biggest reason. Termination of parental rights, many times more, is because of something called dependency or child in need of care or something along that line than actual abuse or neglect, as been stated here. Many times, 5 to 7 to put, depending on the state, children are more likely to be abused and neglected in foster placements. Children already have a home. That's a foster placement. Okay? We have to change things, but we have to change them correctly. We've heard about the public pretenders. They're lawyers. They have something called the canon of ethics. The canon of ethics states, and as a paralegal I had to learn this, that you will give vigorous representation to any case you take. Period. It does not say if the price is right, so that the county or the state's only paying you $500. Don't take the case if you're not going to do it. Our goal in Ohio is to report via the State Supreme Court every single attorney that's on a case that doesn't give vigorous representation. Will the Supreme Court do anything about it? Disciplinary committee do anything about it? Probably not. Not right away. But if they see attorney John Smith from Cleveland, Ohio, and they see that name come across their desk for the same thing over and over and over again, they might get the idea. Those who are within the sound of my voice, we're also pushing this for criminal cases, because there's too many, has been stated here, too many people are in jail because of plea bargains. They're scared by their own attorneys. That's not what an attorney's job is. Not at all. And the other advocates, I'd like to say something to the advocates here that I tried in the state of Ohio that worked wonderfully. It was in Summit County. I did a motion to intervene. Now, motion to intervene is usually done by a family member or friend to take the children that are in care. But it can also be used to get all the wrongdoings of all the people involved in the case on the record. Now the judge can turn a blind eye, but it's on the record.
Still preaching the
Let
same
them
stuff.
turn you down. You've protected the appeal,
Yep.
and they now know. And if that family decides to go and do a civil case, they can't say they didn't know. It's in the record. Protected. Our laws in Ohio are just fine if they be enforced. Children children should not be taken out of the home because the family needs help. It is cheaper. It is morally the right thing to do, and it's legally the right thing to do, to leave them there and bring the help into the home. Okay? These children who legitimately have mental health issues are being signed over because the parents are being wrongfully told that that's the only way that they can get help for their children. You know what that's called? Medicaid fraud. Okay? Medicaid fraud. Every child in the state of Ohio goes on the state's Medicaid. And on that paperwork, they were talking about Title 4D before. This is under Title 4E of the Social Security Act. Everyone is marked that the child does not have health insurance. Dad works for the UAW. Trust me, that child has health insurance. And darn good ones, too.
All right, Brooke's already asleep. So.
But that's so the parents don't know what happens to the child. Okay? Little Johnny fell off the bike and broke his leg. No, that's not why his leg's in a cast. It's because the foster witch threw him down a set of stairs. And they're covering for it. Okay? Or that little mark on his arm isn't an infected mosquito bite. It's where somebody stuck him with a cigarette. Okay, now, let a parent take a child in for an infected mosquito bite, and all of a sudden, it's a cigarette burn, only one problem. Parents don't smoke, grandparents don't smoke. Go figure. They'll take the child anyhow. No child should be taken out of their home unless there is legitimate proof of abuse. That is a charge in the criminal courts of a felony level. If you can't get that, leave the kid alone.
That's right.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good stuff. I mean, you're still preaching the same stuff, you know?
Hey, why am I preaching the same stuff?
You know, well, you're still saying, I mean, you still stay in line with what you're talking about. Like you just said at the beginning of that, what was it? I'm just like still saying the same thing.
Why are you saying the same thing?
Because people aren't listening.
Because of people like who wrote that letter are making us all look crazy. People who stand out with signs screaming, they're stealing our kids. You have to do it in a sane, civil manner to not get labeled. Once you're labeled, they're not going to listen. And we're all on the same page. We all go together. No, I'm not going to take that label. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is just even us doing this, they're putting us all on the list. Just coming out like this and being on a podcast, they're already labeling us. They're already putting us on the list. They're putting us on a watch list.
We're teaching, at least I am, trying to teach.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, it's just a matter of, so the ADA comes out now and they say that you are already going insane. You are an insane person if you have your kid taken by CPS. You have the right to go insane because it matches just that of kidnapping. I mean, what do people expect they're supposed to just stay calm and cool and collective? And
they're allowed to be emotional to a level, okay? Mm-hmm. You don't threaten the caseworker like the story I told before. Mm-hmm. The mother who spoke gruffly, dressed inner city, baggy shorts with the chain for her wallet, bandana on her head, and tattoos. Mm-hmm. Okay? She needs anger management.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And she does. Why? And I told the caseworker, you need to find another job. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because obviously you don't know people and you don't know the people you're here. What about years ago, the caseworker who was going to take the child out of the home because she heard a funny noise asked what was that, and Dad said, "That's my mother-in-law's cow in the pasture over there." Well, because the pasture fence was in sight of their home, she wanted to take the child because she was a Chicago native in southern Illinois in farm country and thought the cow that close to the house was dangerous and unhealthy.
Right. Well, this is where we go back to my always argument of discrepancies, definitions, what things mean, what they say. First of all, there's too much discrepancy in all of this. Everybody gets to make up what they want to make up and make up how it works for them to use against you. Imminent danger is one of them. You know what I mean? Imminent danger needs one solid definition of what is imminent danger. Fire trucks, ambulances, bombs, or is it because there's a pencil next to a kid? The judge, the best interest of the child. That's not discrepancy. That's not so a judge gets to sit there and decide on their values and their morals what the best interest of your child, which they've read an article about 20 minutes before that, before you got in the courtroom, and now they're ruling on the best interest of a child? No. Not at all.
These things. A child does not have a real legal definition.
Right. So
you have factors that you get to go through to make that.
Right. And then the heavy lay part goes on the judge. And that's the fact. But it should have best interest contains what? Bond between a parent and child. It should be how the kid was already doing, because we know that they have those narratives. They have these. Our reports all the way through it said there's no problem. House says, our child had 2 houses. We had 2 houses at the time. 2 beautiful big houses. We had plenty of food. All the notes say this. Kid was well clothed. All of these things. But because I did a podcast, now I was crazy, like you said, because I spoke out against them. I was the bad person because I was telling the truth. I never threatened. I was calm. You can listen to him. It's right here. It's on. That's my daughter. You can listen to what I said. I was never mad. I just spoke the truth. That was enough to make them say I was a domestic abuser. I was this. I have tattoos. I'm doing this. I'm this. I'm that. I was none of those things, right?
Okay. And I have been fighting against discrimination by caseworkers. And I've had it from all angles. Just like that mom I was talking about, they both were white. But the little young caseworker, discriminated against the mom because of what she wore.
Right.
I have had black caseworkers that discriminated against white parents. I have had white caseworkers discriminate against black parents. If you don't know, if the caseworker does not know the culture of the people, she needs to learn it, not make her own opinions. And, if you know what Chinina is. You know what Chinina is?
I can make my own assumption, but go ahead.
Chinina is a Polish dish.
Okay.
It's duck blood soup.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Get a caseworker in there.
Right, say that.
Thinks that you're feeding the kid raw blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Heck, the Polish also have tripe soup.
Yeah, they do. My uncle is Polish, and he ate some things.
Yeah, if you know I just use this because the neighborhood I used to live in was Slavic Village, and I did security at Alliance of Poles. So I got a lot of Polish food, and I did a lot of studying on their culture. Who stole the kishka? If you know any polkas at all, you know the in heaven there is no beer, and who stole the kishka? Okay, kishka is made also because the poor people, when they slaughtered the animals for the royalty, To get protein, they drained off the blood. They threw their kind of wheat in it and spices, and they packed it into intestines.
Yeah, they use blood sausage. Yep. Oh,
Okay,
that's what it's called. That's what the real name of it is.
quiche.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Okay, it's a blood sausage.
Right.
If a caseworker does not know the culture, then she can't make determinations like that. And you can fight it very easily. Okay? Now here's one for you. Went to federal court and was won. Homeschool parents. Oh, their water's turned off. They don't have working toilets in their house, and their kids never go to school. They were on their way to a church potluck. Putting the kids all in the van, and they get blocked in by caseworkers, the caseworker, and the county sheriff. County sheriff ended up hauling dad away, and kids went into foster care. Walsh versus Erie County. There was no reason to take those kids. Federal court, they paid. They paid. They turned the water on the spigot on the side of the house to prove they had water. Okay? You never know, and the whole thing was this neighbor didn't believe in homeschooling. I've had a couple of those cases.
Yeah, they have a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of disagreement with the CPS, and a lot of disagreements between CPS and homeschooling for some reason. And then my guess is that's because they're not allowed to have access to your child, so they don't agree with it.
Well, they don't have a mandated reporter that your kid sees 5 days a week.
Right, right.
That's what it is. Okay? But the thing is, you should always become a member of Homeschool Defense Network. It's not association, rather. It's not that expensive. And when the caseworker knocks on your door, you call them.
How do you know? How did you just? I imagine anybody can just look up Homeschool Defense Network and.
Yeah, it's Homeschool Defense Association, I think, technically.
Okay.
Let me check real quick. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in homeschooling.
I believe in it 100% as well. I mean, the curriculum right now of the public schools is not that of what our true history is, nor is it, anything that, they're not teaching the truth there at all.
Not at all. Okay, it's HSLDA, Homeschool Legal Defense Association.
HSLDA.
Yeah.
Hey, Russ, can you real quick here talk about what CPS Watch is and how that came about?
So CPS Watch is the first organization that I found with the first case. It was started by a lady in Missouri whose fifth son, she ended up having 12 boys before she, whose fifth son, when he was born, caseworker at the hospital decided that she couldn't handle 5 boys. Just decided it and called in when this one happened to have some health issues. Immediately called Children's Services. And they tried to they took that one for a while, and if I remember the story right, and they tried taking the other boys away in the long run. She won, but how she went about it is what became a pamphlet that she called what was it? Anyway, she wrote this pamphlet. Now, it was so long ago that some of the techniques in it are outdated. It was pre everybody having email and the electronic age. So it needs to be rewritten. Parents Guide to CPS. That's what it was. They heard that with me for a moment there.
still have things like that, right?
It was a biting moment. But anyhow, it was a parent's guide to CPS. That's what she wrote.
Okay.
And we are talking, the one person that was closest to her and I have vaguely discussed rewriting it and updating it. But in it, it talks about how you document everything, including because we didn't have text back then,
Right.
how you document every meeting with the caseworker. And back then we were using certified mail. So at today's visit, July 3rd, 2004, you arrived at my house at approximately 2 p.m. You checked to make sure I had food in the house and that my utilities were turned on. You saw my children and did not find anything visibly wrong with them. We discussed my parenting classes that are to start next week, or whatever you talked about. Then at the bottom, it's if this is not as you remember it, please make any corrections within the next 3 business days. And this will become permanent record and may be used in court. That's the letters we used to send certified mail. We can do that now on email.
Right.
If you try to have a show tomorrow night, I can't be on it because you won't be able to hear me.
Oh, you're going to be in the fireworks?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I live type of neighbor.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do repeats tomorrow night. But unless someone's hell bent on us having a show, put it up here in the chat. We'll possibly just go for the repeats for the 4th of July. And what she's talking about for the record stuff, what she was hitting on in her video, and like she talks about here, that's very important. What's more important is you gotta pay attention to your attorneys, because what they're not doing in these cases, they're not putting in evidence or anything like that, like she's saying, for the record. Therefore, when you go to appeals, you have nothing to appeal because there's nothing. You haven't argued anything in your trial that it has any sort of substance to it legally to argue. So if they don't put it in the record and it's not brought up, then you can't argue it down the road.
Right. There's no new evidence. No new evidence can be presented at appeals. I'm wanting to make a pamphlet as legal guide for parents so they make sure their attorney is being okay. Can you throw my email up there, please, Darren or Samantha?
Yep, sure can. Let's see. Where is Ross?
Samantha, I have something you may want to start with. It's called Managing Your Attorney. Anybody can call me and ask me for it. Also, a letter to your attorney, what you expect them to do and what you promise him to do. Okay? I have talked to attorneys. I've never put it in writing, Samantha, but I've talked to attorneys and actually told them how to have all these many cases that they do for children's services and how they can do them efficiently with a lot less work.
That would be maybe it's
one that have used it has liked it. It's number one. You get a case across your desk, the first thing you do is send out the first polite letter to Children's Services for the record. And you pull the file from the court. Everybody should have everything that has been filed in court. Attorney should be giving you a copy of it, period.
And you should be putting that in a binder so you can access it at all times with
in chronological order. If you want to put labels on it, have tabs out the side, sticky notes. I got some here. Sticky notes like this make nice tabs where you could put labels on them if you want to. Okay. These come from when I was a notary. I write sign here on them.
Are you still a notary?
No, it expired. You only have 5 years. And you have to renew it. There's a whole lot going on at that time. I missed my deadline.
Oh no, so you got to go back through the whole.
Okay, it's not hard.
No.
You know, it's kind of expensive, but
Right.
it cost me about $300
Right.
to get back through. But rewriting the Parent's Guide to CPS would be an awesome idea. I've got to get back with Desiree. We should talk to Desiree. But anyways, with CPS Watch, they got me started. And then CPS Watch, part of those people morphed into American Family Rights Association, which is still on Facebook. We help parents one-on-one. Matter of fact, we have a side group that just we take on a case and we get it. Samantha, if your attorney won't give it to you, go down to the house. You have every right to it. The other thing is, grab your coffee or your soda, your favorite book, or your knitting, and go sit in his office until he gives it to you.
Yeah, and you look up. There's a thing called the Clifford Act that can help assist you with getting your discovery as well. Check that out. That's another. Your attorney's going to tell you no, and then you go find the Clifford Act and bring them some parts of that, and they'll go without haste here pretty quickly. That's another way to go about it. But they don't have the right to hold any of that stuff from you, right? They've got to give you everything. They're supposed to, right? Your attorney, their attorneys. If you tell them what you want, everything in the discovery, everything that's supposed to be acceptable to you is supposed to be given to you, correct?
Well, okay. In true cases of abuse, there is some precautions that have to be taken.
Okay.
You don't need the child's discovery or the child's admission to real abuse, especially sexual abuse.
Right.
Okay. To the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's dangerous for the child.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Remember, a lot of these rules that we find very cumbersome and laws, they're not made for your kids who didn't wear a coat to school in 20-degree weather.
Right.
They're made for that little girl who has a visitor every night.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay? So you have to remember that those things are made for the worst case scenario. All right? So that's what you have to watch out for. But a lot of times your attorney can get that stuff and they can't show it to you. But make sure your attorney has it. If you go into court, they have a box and your attorney has 3 inches. Anything that is not in that file that he has should be objected to.
Right.
Objection, Your Honor, wasn't in discovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people, that's where they have the advantage. Now, without mentioning names, I know one couple who she has an attorney, and he's going to go pro se. That is the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
What her attorney doesn't do, he can.
Absolutely.
What the attorney's afraid of, you can always have the other one do it.
Yeah, because the bottom line is as long as the kid comes home, who cares what way it goes?
Yeah, which parent does it, gets it on the record, because it'll hold for both.
Right.
Okay? Just remember, though, when you're a couple, we'll do it this way. She can't write the motion from scratch and him sign it and then find out about it, because then it's a problem. If you do that, then you must make sure that the person who's just signing it practically memorizes that thing.
Right.
So that if you get asked questions, you can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I have one case that I'm working with right now that an attorney stipulated for the parent didn't even know it happened.
Oh, wow.
You never let your attorney speak for you without you first knowing it, and if they do, they must correct it or get the heck off the case. You're done. You're done. Don't be afraid to stand up in the middle of court and say, "Excuse me, Your Honor, I'm firing my attorney," and take over. Never go into the courtroom without a legal pad and a pen or a pencil, because you're going to be taking notes and you're going to be passing them to your attorney. You can also do something too that's called making your attorney sit second chair. In other words, he's your assistant.
Is that a process to get that done, or will they do that anyway? Will they allow you to do that?
You should put in a notice of appearance. Attorneys don't particularly like it. They can quit if they want.
Right.
Let them.
So, let me here. I'm going to show you this real quick. You keep bringing this up today, and I keep meaning to talk about it. So we have on our site here, I'm going to just share this whole page with you. Let's check this out. So, so I don't know why we don't do this more often, but we don't, or I don't do it more often, but check this out. And I bet you didn't even know about this, Roz. Let me see here. So this is the website, my website, abolishcps.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is that up there right now? There we go. Check it out. Under protection, when you go here, here we have a spiral notebook. This one here has the recorded thing on it. But it's a spiral notebook right there, and it's got, if you've seen this, you've been recorded. Also, we sell these, the video cameras. We have the little cheap cameras. We have home security cameras. We have all that stuff. But we have a couple of these different notebooks that you have to bring into court. Let me see. Here's bringing up here. That is definitely not ours. That's not mine.
I say to bring in a legal pad is because that's what they recognize.
No, absolutely. But I'm just showing you these. So we sell these hardcover bound books because what I know is that if they walk by, so we have this one here. This is Keep Fighting the Fight, CPS Corruption. They can walk by you and if they grab your notebook and it's not labeled at the, at any given point, if it doesn't say like for your eyes only or whatever, if your caseworker grabs it and snipes it up, it's fair game. So you need to make sure. That's why I sell these ones here. I think there's the page 4 here. We got them? No, that's not it. Let's see here. Page 3. I don't know how the close got put in here. I'm going to have to talk to the web person about that. But it says this is property of, there we go. So we have this one too. It says there's 3 sides in the CPS investigation, the caseworkers, the GAL, and the truth. And it says for the eyes of blank family only. So that right there will make it so that they cannot pick up your notebook and take your notes from it. You don't have to buy this notebook, but you get something along the lines and do that. But if you do want to buy it, you can get it at abolishcps.com. We've got all kinds of other things here too that you can. You're always more than welcome to pick up. So, but that all being said, Roz, I think that we've about come to the point, and I think we've talked our way. I think we should ask Herbert what he thinks and what his last words are. Herbert, are you here? There he is. There's the Herbert. Let's get him. Here you are. Herbert,
CPS come to your door.
Make sure they have. Hold on. Herbert, how you doing? Last words, buddy.
If you have CPS come to your home, make sure that they have the proper paperwork to enter your home. Don't be intimidated by law enforcement being with them, because they contact the law enforcement to be with them in the event of a confrontation. That's all it is. So law enforcement is not saying anything. They're just bouncing off of what CPS is there for. Also, I advise parents who are going to be parents to listen to all that's going on to avoid being a victim of CPS.
Agreed with that. And we have more to come from Herbert on his new endeavor of the preventative maintenance or the preventative actions needed to be taken so you stay off the CPS watch list, to stay off the radar, period.
Yes.
Because if you knew
better,
that's
you're
right.
gonna do better.
Yeah, I love that, Herbert. I love that saying.
Okay. One thing I would like to ask is can we have an after show with Rosalind?
Sure, I don't mind if she don't mind.
Could you put are you okay? Are you open for that, Rosalind? It's like expenditure, Darren.
Yeah, it's our little meeting of the minds. Yeah, I'll throw you guys a link right now as soon as we finish this, and we'll go to the drawing room.
Okay, so we have the after show.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
all right.
That's all I have to say.
All right, Bubba. Roz, last words for you.
Love your kids more than you hate CPS. Make sure it's documented.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys. That was a good show. I thank you guys for being on with me tonight. Happy 4th to everybody. I think we'll go ahead and just do some repeats tomorrow night, something along those lines. So make sure that you guys keep your kids safe, keep them away from the fireworks. Don't let CPS come over to your house. Thank you for supporting us, guys. I'm the CPS Punisher, and we're out of here.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption and our fellows in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.